So the next question is, as you see it, what is the greatest need in Utah County right now that your job as commissioner would address? And how do you plan on going about addressing it if elected?
I believe there's several, but the one I would put as the greatest need is water, and it's because nobody ever talks about it, and it's life-sustaining, and we all rely upon it every single day to stay alive. We have to address our water issue. I have 3 specific areas that we do that. The first thing we do is we start now at long-term water storage solutions. It's a long process, but if we don't start now, we're not going to have the opportunity to have deliverable water to the growing population. The second thing is we understand what true water conservation is. The third thing that we need to do there is end subsidizing of water use. If people would have to start paying for what they consume, the consumption would go down. We're the second driest state. We're always one of the highest consumings. That's because water's subsidized. It's the life-sustaining element that we rely on every single day. If we want to stay alive, we need to make sure we have a safe, readily available water source.
There's a lot of different needs that we're being faced with right now, and they're going to increase significantly over the next 3 years. We've had an economic boom and amazing growth in the county, which is phenomenal. But with that, as I'd mentioned earlier, we have 30,000 new families that have come into the area over the last 3.5 years. Right now, we're not having a huge strain on some of our infrastructure. That goes way beyond the roads, by the way. That involves your electrical grids, your sewage treatment plants, your water treatment plants, the different areas with the watershed in general. We have 30% of our water comes from aquifers, which means well water. Are we protecting it as we take a look at the growth and where we're putting our communities and how we're doing allowing developers to come in and where we're allowing them to build? Right now, we're not having anything as far as water study management, as far as aquifer and where they're going. So what I'm looking at as one of the biggest areas is actually taking a look at the infrastructure that's required.
I agree with some of the comments that have been made. I would add that water is perhaps a subset of what I feel is the most important issue for the county, and that is managing growth. Right now we have over 615,000 people in our county. Our roads have needs. We don't have enough water. We won't have enough water to accommodate the growth. The growth also impacts air quality, and air quality is going to be a huge issue. We're one of the dirtiest places, even worse than California in many places. And so adequately providing the capital buildings for our sheriff's department, our law enforcement. Right now, most of our facilities for law enforcement are out here in South County. It takes an hour and a half or longer to get to some parts of the county. So adequately providing the capital infrastructure as well as the environmental impacts and the zoning and proper growth management strategies, I think is vital for our county.
I think water, with regards to growth, is certainly probably one of the biggest issues, but I think we have a very deep problem right now in the county, especially with regards to public perception, and that is with a transparency question, which is why my boys were handing you those flyers at the door. I think that when it comes to transparency, when you have lost public confidence as a commission, and you have the immediate past commissioner a month and a half ago getting arrested for impersonating an LDS church official, you have a serious problem with regards to public confidence. When there's the questions that have been highlighted by various groups, including the groups from the American Fort Canyon folks, the Proposition 1 folks, the BRT folks, the different people that were concerned about pay raises, all of these different concerned citizen groups, the number one thing that we've expressed throughout all of this process is when you have 9 a.m. commission meetings on a Tuesday, that signals to the public that they don't want to hear from you. There's not a desire to have that input. There's other arguments that are given for why they put it at that time, but let's signal to the public that we want their input. Let's have the meetings be recorded.
When you talk of a single issue, that's hard. So I think that maybe the best way that I can address one issue is with an all-encompassing issue, and that is just 2 days ago, the governor signed what the House Bill 219. It's called the Resource Management Plan. And what that will do is will mandate all counties in the state of Utah to analyze all their resources, one being the one that we would, I think, generally agree with is the number one thing of life-sustaining water, agriculture, transportation needs. And so when I think of, if I could say one thing, I would think it would be House Bill 219 and adhering to what it proposes to be, and that is an overarching planning process to make sure we don't get the cart before the horse in anything that we do, and that we plan accordingly in this county. And it's in concert with the cities, and it's in concert with all the other surrounding counties, because we're all on the same team here. Many of the issues discussed here were city issues. Thank you.